Are you ready?
About, yes.
Okay, let's go. This is Pluribusters for Pluribus episode 5, Got Milk. Roll camera. Let's bring the camera down from the ceiling. It's magic.
Hello and welcome to Pluribusters episode 5, Got Milk. I'm Kate Dimbleby.
Hello, I am Ru Howe.
You almost forgot for a second.
How are you feeling, Kate?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite tired.
Last week was my turn to feel ill,
Yes.
and you're not feeling on top of the weather today.
But compared to Carol, I'm hunky-dory.
Okay, that's true.
Let's face it.
Cheers. Here's to Carol and her love of whiskey.
Here's to Carol.
I'm eating a whiskey this evening. I'm eating a Tam Lagavulin.
We did also have mince pies today, but
yeah.
we've decided not to bring them into shot.
No, we're going to make them when it's December.
Yeah.
So, and Tallulah is here as well. Hello, Tallulah. What do you think is going on, and what do you think about that episode? So this could be quite a short Pluribusters today, I think.
Yes, because firstly, how many lines of dialogue were in that episode?
I mean, it was like The Pianist. It was like a silent film. It was.
I remember her saying "What the fuck" once, and then I remember her saying something quite similar.
She talks on the phone.
And she talks on the phone, yeah.
And
then obviously at the end.
Oh yeah, that's true. The phone, just geekery out of the way to begin with. The phone, voice on the phone, was Patrick Fabian Howard Hamlin from Better Call Saul, which you wouldn't know, but he was the really nice person who was the villain in Better Call Saul.
And he's the one who's like, "I'm really sorry, Carol."
Yeah, that's right.
Given what's happened.
And he has the
So what
perfect voice
I
for
wrote,
that. And they didn't tell her that they were going to use him as the voice.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they were waiting for her to be surprised and be like to throw her off, and she was pro.
I wrote a few notes, which was animals, loneliness.
Oh my god!
I thought this was the loneliest episode.
That was the idea. My sense about what they're trying to do, or what the kind of world that's being built is, like, we're being pushed quite hard to think, actually, how bad is it? How bad is this conjoined world? It seems quite nice, and she seems, like we've been talking about this week after week, she seems quite miserable, and I mean very, for all the reasons that you might possibly want to empathise with her, but actually, like, how bad is their world? Really? Are they actually, maybe they're quite nice, and maybe it wouldn't be so bad. We had some conversations about this.
Quite interesting comments of people saying, I think a lot of people now are thinking, what is the hive mind? Do they work all together?
Who's saying this?
So Henry, aka my brother, said, the people, are they all the same or slightly different? We know that not all decisions are made in our brains, so maybe the brains are linked, but the bodies aren't.
So you had, when you read that out, you had a question
firstly,
about that.
He was like, we know that not all decisions are made in our brains. And I'm like, what? So, but I guess what he means is habitual memory, hormonal drives. You know what I think about this. I think that we're basically 0.1% rational, and we're completely emotional and hormonal, and we post hoc. I think the rationality is like post hoc rationalization for everything. So is it actually our brains, or is there a larger consciousness that is actually an embodied consciousness? Too much whiskey? Not enough yet, maybe. Or maybe it's a cloud of consciousness, or like there's lots of theories and ideas about what consciousness is, whether it belongs in a computer in the head, whether it's a systemic thing. I guess that's what Henry's talking about. He would know because he spends a lot of time thinking about body, food, impacts of those things, and science around that. But so are they? What he's asking is, do they think fast differently but slow the same? How do they decide tasks? They don't seem to be efficient. Otherwise, they'd be dividing by physical type. I thought that was quite interesting because they are incredibly diverse. The people carrying things could be, like in this episode, there was a child pushing the trolley.
Yeah.
It seems to be deliberately not the physical type that you would expect to go with the task at hand.
Yeah, is it just whoever is available? And why haven't they gone home to change?
Well, and he did also say they don't seem to be working on any great projects.
Oh, so this is good.
So they just have free time. What do they do? You see them walking along the street like normal people. I thought this episode, you finally got there was a moment where you said, "Oh look, we're moving out of Carol's view." And
it was the first time that we kind of severed from Carol's viewpoint. Everything had been like with Carol. I may be wrong, but I think the whole few episodes, we'd been around Carol. The camera had been on Carol and her connections with people. And the moment she went to sleep, suddenly it lifted off to the exodus, to the people leaving the hospital. That amazing. And those scenes of leaving the hospital, I just like the choreography in this show is fantastic. You know, those scenes could have been quite plodding. I mean, I think that's what you love. It's what people love, a sort of apocalypse, you know, zombie movies for those scenes, and we haven't had so many of them, which is, you know, the kind of the kind of depopulation and the spookiness of, and you could feel people music, draining out.
There was music as well, where I got a bit of, maybe it was Truman Show, which is the closest I can get to this kind of
right. Yes,
do you know what I mean? The idea of what's the music going on in the background? Is this a kind of Happy Valley vibe of everyone just kind of twinkling along? And
you thought it was maybe what was going on in their heads, coming back to what Amanda said in a previous episode.
Yes,
like what's going on inside their heads.
Calm music to help them all coordinate.
What was it? Choral voices.
And that's quite interesting because we were listening to the official podcast, and you were encouraging me to listen to the composer Dave Porter. Yeah. Porter, and I'm a musician as well, and he talked about the tempo and coordinating kind of choreography of both the film and the people with the sound.
Oh my God, it was him talking about like how the editors, how the production, the script and the writing has its own tempo and rhythm.
Yes.
And then the editors themselves have a kind of characteristic, the picture editors. So he kind of knows the team and what pace they edit at, and then he starts composing when the picture's almost done.
So if they are all coordinated in this beautiful ballet.
Yeah.
Because of Zosha, suddenly this has been disrupted, this world, and we have that brilliant moment where she talks to one of the people in the hospital.
Oh yeah, it's your first moment where
he doesn't respond to her.
Yeah. He blanks her.
Yeah, and so what's happening? Talking of those sci-fi, like I feel like we're kind of longing for it to turn dark at this point.
Yeah, for sure. But is it turning dark because of her, or is it turning dark because of them?
Yeah,
I guess that's
good question.
You know, and I think they've decided to protect, after their last episode, they've decided that she's, I mean, you could interpret that they've decided that she's dangerous and that they're going to protect themselves and they're going to take themselves away from her, you know, for the greater good.
I mean, how dangerous can she be? She's one woman against...
Well, except she freaks out. She harms Zosha. They don't like that, and she causes kind of, you know, when she rages at them, she causes them all to freak out and crash and die in hundreds of thousands or millions. And I think that there's possibly an idea that they want her to learn a lesson, right? That they're abandoning her on the naughty step like a naughty child.
Definitely feels like a child.
That making her understand what it is. Like, she wants independence. She wants to live a independent life where she's not connected. Well, this is what it looks like. And I started to feel like when she was alone at home and she didn't have anybody to pick up her trash, I was like, I'm sure a lot of people did, I thought, oh my God, this is like communist propaganda. This is like a socialist series. Hold on a second. Is this all about how beautiful the state is collecting our trash? And
oh my God!
And it turns out, when I'm listening very briefly to the podcast, that actually in that Exodus scene, the director was referencing Soy Cuba, this communist propaganda film, and he was referencing the kind of visuals of that, and then that incredible shot of her on the roof with the freeway from left to right. I mean, like a classic apocalyptic movie of like them all leaving. It's like very unreal.
Yes.
Apparently it took 2 months to make that, in VFX, to make that shot.
So that's Albuquerque with all its spaghetti junctions.
Yeah, I mean, like that's...
But those aren't actual cars.
Those are... So the junction is real. So all of the roads are real. That is like, it's crazy. Living in England, you just never see that. There's one place called Spaghetti Junction in near Birmingham that people think of as like that kind of intertwined, whatever they call them, leaf type things. And but in American cities, they connect these big highways.
Makes me feel vertiginous.
Absolutely, but it's very unusual. I mean, it's and then they found that shot and they filmed an actual 270 shot, left to right, really difficult shot to achieve, and filmed it at a certain time of day, and then they had to delete all of the cars. So the VFX people had to erase all the cars and make the cars appear like with lights on and disappearing into the distance. Which is,
where are they going?
Away from her. Wow. And then she gets them to turn the lights back on. So is there any more?
No, I think we should dive into actually what happens in this episode, because I'm trying to remember. Because, of course, quite like some of the other episodes, but maybe even more so, this felt to me very impressionistic. Again, not much happening, except these laugh out loud moments, like when the drone comes and gets the rubbish caught in the tree, in the post. And then also, I was very happy. I must say, there was a moment where I was watching her behaving like a child, picking up the phone, the way that she talks to the other people. I mean, she hasn't got much kind of, given that she's a writer who goes and talks to the public the whole time, she's pretty ungracious.
Yeah.
so she puts on her makeup and she's like, right, okay.
Like, yeah.
But so you're almost starting to really dislike her. Well, I was.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the bedroom and you suddenly remember.
Yeah. She's
in grief, and she's still in grief, and she's actually, everything that she's doing outside of the bed is kind of away from Helen. And then, of course, the animals. Yeah. Which is her and them and wilderness. It's like it becomes like a Western. I think maybe there's an element of this which is a Western. Yes, she's like, kind of stranded out on this. Yes, in this place with nobody and just the wolves. So you were like, are they coyotes? I didn't. In England? I don't know. Well, the first ones what are they? But they're wolves, apparently. Are they? Yeah. But there were two types. Maybe. Don't think so. I think they were all. I think they came and discovered the rubbish, and then they came back. Then they came back for the body. Of animal. No, I think. Let's find out, because we've got some people writing in from all over who might actually. Well, Amanda, who watches this, has had a personal experience with grey wolves. So, I mean, a lot of the episode was. A lot of the episode was dealing with that grief and dealing with her decision to build great big paved area for Helen, not just cover it, but like mark it and deal with that. But I mean, what other show would do that much in silence with just about that, and also have those laugh out loud moments of those, I mean, little bits that I love are like when she goes and clears the bottles away before she records the video. I love that. Which those, we sometimes do that. Yeah, we actually expose them, but that's, part of our shtick. No, it's very good, that kind of self-consciousness she has, despite being the only person in her universe. Yeah. And that was the only talking. The talking really was her talking to them. Yes. Again, using the camera to be able to talk. But what I've seen is in the poster image for the next episode, it's Casanova McBurner again in Las Vegas. Excited. I'm so happy. It'll be good to get back to some other... We do need some people. We need some people now. Yeah. And perhaps that, again, that is what it's about. It's like, she's like, get away from me, and they're like, okay then. So it's good. How you feel about this. The laughs, the drone. I mean, the drone, they're very depressing. We were saying, as the drones appeared, we were like, oh my God, it's like a vision of the future. Yeah. We saw those, we talked about it before, didn't we? We saw those robots on the streets and LA, and you just know that the future involves drone pickup and delivery and just this depopulation, dehumanization of everything. Yes. And so watching that drone and the terrible whining and the kind of slowness of it. Hovers but does, and you're not even sure. When the first one arrived, I was like, I really hope this is going to be a shit drone that can't get it right. And then it picked it up and went away, and I was like, oh. And then the second one. But it felt to me like I wondered whether they were trolling her because the drone crashed. Like, they've got the best drone pilots. They are the best drone pilots in the world. Yes. Like, the people that I know, shout out to Angus and Pasquale, and I can't remember, there was a third person in this when I was at the BBC who got their own drone to go and fly out on a beach, and
I'm not going to say who it was of those people, flew on an open beach, flew their brand new, very expensive drone straight into a lamppost. But it is, as a first-time pilot, that sort of thing is easy to do.
They look quite basic, those drones. Are they quite basic?
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're professional drones, but they're not like military drones. They're just like, they're the sort of drones that would be used for pickup. But they are. But the idea is, I guess, that her rubbish is so heavy that it made the drone fail, even though they were trying to do it for her. But or were they trolling her?
So we said this was going to be a short episode.
So can we go back? Can we go back to some comments?
I will go to some comments, and then I want to talk to you about the sacks, and I obviously want to talk to you about what they are eating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what have we got? Amanda said, amazing acting, amazing to have one act of the whole episode. Keep on expecting a mad psycho to jump out of the shadows, but so interesting to have a world where there are no mad psychos. I think that's true. I'm kind of, it's definitely igniting that part of you that's like longing for drama. Like I keep kind of waiting when she's going into dark places. I'm like, oh, something's going to happen. Then it is just some ravens or.
So this end of this episode, coming to what you were talking about, this was a long period of kind of starvation of stimulus.
Yes.
Before the end of the episode, where there's like literally in the very last half a second, there's that gasp, and you're like, oh, plot point.
Yes.
Something's happening in the plots now. Here's a plot point. It must be that the bags are the what she's uncovered is.
Yes.
What is she uncovered? It must be. And I think we'll come back to talking about what we think it might be. But I think that that they've really taken it to this point, that halfway point that we were getting to, where they've taken all of the others away.
Yes.
It's turned. Now it's getting darker. It's going to carry on getting darker. She's going to have to reach out and co-op some people now that she's
they don't like
discovered what's going on.
The mother saying, "You made my son cry," which I thought was quite funny. Because it was sort of like kind of, I don't know, terrible bourgeois playground, you know. Yeah. You made my son cry.
But it needs, something needs to happen. Like you know, you hear from people around. This is the point at which Gemma asked us to shout out to her. So, hello, Gemma. And she was saying how she was enjoying it, but it wasn't quite.
Well, I was going to say for you again.
I was going to say she wasn't. It wasn't quite exciting enough, I think, was the impression she was giving. And I think you hearing that from a lot of people, like we feel hooked on it. We're doing this for God's sake, but a lot of people are hooked on it, but we're also like, come on, we're 6 hours into it, 5 hours into it, you know, what, 4 to 5 hours.
I mean, having said that, it's gripped me all along, so that's what's interesting. It's
so,
like held my.
But you're very much not. You're the sort of person who, as soon as the action starts in a big Hollywood blockbuster, you literally fall asleep. That's true, right?
Yeah, it's true. There's something about the amount of noise that just lulls me to sleep. I don't know, my mum must have been around a lot of loud noise when I was in the womb. I'm just like, oh, lovely.
What's happening? Oh, it's ended.
But what do you feel about that? Because you've watched.
You know me, I can watch experimental films and sit and enjoy it forever.
But is it Gilligan's thing? People keep saying this is his thing.
I would say that. Well, it's interesting. There's a discussion about Better Call Saul and where it was slow to begin with, and I think it was slow to begin with, and I think a lot of people were like, you know, what's going on? This isn't Breaking Bad, I think that went on for like 2 to 3 seasons, and they are incredible looking back at them. But then it really hit its stride. It took a few seasons to really hit its kind of peak. Most series, I would say, don't do that. They start strong, they struggle, they maybe, you know, they go backwards and forwards. His series build, or the previous 2 series, whether they're his or not, is another question. But they but this one is definitely, obviously designed to be slow, and some people are finding that hard. And it's interesting to see. They're not responding in real time because it's all made, right? But they know that people are going to be behaving like that.
Yes.
And what are they going to do in the last, what we got, 6, 7, 8, 9? What are they going to do in the last 4 episodes?
Yeah.
Are they going to just keep leaning into that? Are we just going to get to the end of series 1 and it's going to be another and then we have to wait a year or a year and a half for series 2.
I think the fact that somebody said that it's making us ask so many questions.
Yeah.
In fact, Tom and Kate, Vince says something about how wonderful the hive mind would be in a trailer. Maybe. In the beginning, it seems like a wonderful world without corrupt autocratic regimes. But what is the plan after the remaining 12 are joined in? Are they planning something malevolent or saving us from ourselves? Does the population have a transformed consciousness, or do extraterrestrials out there? We haven't even talked about extraterrestrials.
Yeah, so weird. We haven't talked about the sci-fi stuff at all.
Do they need a new planet and none of us are left? And I do think this is the episode where I suddenly started to feel... Because we've talked about AI, but it's for some... I think extraterrestrials are different to AI, aren't they?
Well, they're non-human intelligence, I guess. So
yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
I mean, I have a lot of theories about all this stuff, but I think but I think that in the plot of this, there's a planet somewhere 600 light years away that sent a signal to... Maybe it's just a gift to the universe, which is we figured out how to make everybody happy and compliant. If you can figure this out, you too can be happy and compliant and stop war.
Yes.
Like it's an end to war. It's it's John Lennon's dream. So Merry Christmas. I think that possibly it's as simple as that, and possibly they are preparing the ground for... It's like a brilliant mind control experiment, preparing the ground for colonization or farming or whatever it is, and maybe this is what it's hinting at the end of this episode, that actually, as Henry called up and said at the end of that episode, Soylent Green is people, and that. So
tell me what
Soylent Green is a Soylent Green.
Okay, never heard of it.
Okay, so there's a spoiler about something else happening here, but it is a film in which the reveal in it, they're living in this futuristic society.
You're not going to tell me the name of the film?
It's called Soylent Green.
Oh, okay.
It's from the 70s, I reckon. And at the end of it, well, not at a key point in it, there's... Maybe it's the end. It's been a long time since I've seen it. There's a sort of reveal where they've discovered that actually the food that keeps everybody young and nourishes everybody is just the people who are... I always confuse it with another film, but anyway, it's a film. The idea is that it's people being turned into food and being fed to the other humans, and so that's what's being hinted at the end of this. She's lifting up the thing. She's seeing something that disgusts and horrifies her. Like, what would create that reaction? It's hard to imagine what would create that
reaction to the baby in the pram.
Yes, it's exactly the same kind of face she had when she looked into that pram. We didn't see the baby in episode 1. And
maybe that's why those two moments, those were moments where I thought, yes, I actually had a filmic thought, which is, I thought she knows more than we do. You know how you were saying that thing of like when the audience know more than the protagonist, you always think the protagonist is dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas I think those moments were like, maybe there's a reason Carol is so... like, you guys are weird, because maybe, obviously they've killed her partner and the whole world's gone mad, but I do think there's maybe some things that she's seen that we maybe don't know about.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure that there's things that she's seen, because that would feel like a lot of we're holding, but it feels like she would have said something about that.
Yeah.
But there's an instinct or a feeling that she has, coming back to Henry's thing about not all thoughts happen in the brain.
Yes.
There's a feeling that she has that it's off, and maybe that's just because of her, maybe because she's a rabid capitalist, maybe she's just like, this is what happens to... Maybe she's the one lone representative of libertarianism and MAGA left on the world.
She says something about that, doesn't she, about individualism.
Right, yeah. And it's a lot of talk I don't read a lot of blogs about it, there's a lot of talk about this being a... hello to Lila. A lot of talk about this being a kind of debate between collectivism and individualism, and and that being that sort of a political thing, but it doesn't. That's too on the nose for it.
Yes.
But she, do you want to go back onto more comments?
Why not?
If you bring it over to your lap, then you can face the camera while also.
Okay. I don't know which ones to read out. Thank you,
everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Most of the comments, if you want to come and join the gang, most of the comments are living on Spotify, because it's easy to leave comments there. So we always reply.
Thank you for your comments on Apple as well. I know it's harder to leave a comment on Apple, and there are fewer of them, but it's very nice. Thank you for saying that it was nice for there to be a British It's quite funny, the different comments about the Britishness.
My favourite one was that somebody, who was it who said that they have to...
Tom and Kate.
Tom and Kate also said, listening from Virginia... Funny, I have to turn the speed down to 0.8 to understand you guys with your energetic way of speaking.
That's really funny because I always think that Americans speak... Here I go, speaking fast. It's really funny because I always think Americans speak very fast.
But I think also we read each other's thoughts because we live together, work together, are married for many years. So we jump in...
Are we a hive mind? Are we like a two-person hive mind?
Sometimes I think we are hive mind.
Well, if we are, then Tallulah is part of the hive mind.
Tallulah's definitely part of the hive mind. I mean, that's a good... We have been... Sorry to do a detour. Yeah. Quite interesting, though.
It's all about the detours, the show.
We have been talking about how... this idea... Well, certainly I've been even reading and hearing lots of podcasts about the idea of individualism, capitalism, the idea of all kind of fulfilling our destiny and becoming the best us we can, and
optimize.
And I think what we've experienced working together in this business is like we've become sometimes worryingly codependent, but also necessarily codependent because we're doing it together. And I think that's that's one of the questions here is like, Carol is really living in a world that is like either we serve you all the time, every single thing you want. You're having a smile now. Is that what were you thinking? No, I'm just listening.
You were very nice. It's nice hearing
you say nice that. Me saying that?
Yeah, it's very nice. I just feel emotional.
That's so nice.
Anyway.
But and she's lost that because I think her and Helen were not, they were travelling the world together and possibly Helen was kind of keeping her own interests down in order to serve the greater vision. Let's not make a parallel.
Yeah, let's not make a parallel between you and... It's up to you guys to decide which one of us is Carol and which one of us is Helen.
I tell you what I love about Helen is that we found out that she was reading Agatha Christie. That was
and then there were none.
Yeah. Is what happens they all get picked off.
Yeah.
So that's... It's
literally the whole show is and then there were none. In that episode, they've all
and there were 13 of them.
There's no, maybe.
I think there were.
Yeah.
Were they at a dinner party?
They were on an island. They were on a Devon island, but it also has. I think it's like the third.
So if we've got 4 episodes left, are we going to have one by one them leaving?
I don't think it's that sort of show.
No.
What sort of show is it, Kate? What sort of show is it? It's its own new type of show. You know how I said. To begin with, and I was really embarrassed about you kept on repeating it. It's a genre-defining show.
Yes.
I mean, what the fuck genre is this?
Well, I think we talked about how David Lynch said we're beyond genre. Not David Lynch. He might also say that. Yeah. But the singer who I heard.
David Byrne?
David Byrne was saying, in music now...
They're the same person, really.
We're sort of beyond it because you can access everything, everywhere, all at once. So... you no longer need to confine anything within a genre.
Yeah.
And I think I do, again, I know the thing of I'm pretty uneducated in the filmic languages.
You say that.
I don't think I am, but I do feel that this is, I'm watching it and I'm aware of my reactions to shots. I'm aware of what's being revealed to me.
It's a very beautifully crafted thing. And
but is that a good thing always? Because presumably, a bit like good music, you're not always supposed to notice the goodness of it because you're supposed to be in it.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Except if, so you don't. So the moments, I think. So there's a lot. Just like referring to Better Call Saul and not being in the middle of this. There's a lot of Better Call Saul where you don't notice how incredibly put together it is when you're right in the middle of these scenes where they put them together, and then maybe you go back and watch them and you're like, holy crap, that was some amazing shots in there, But in a show like this, in an episode like this, when there's nothing else, you literally, all you've got is the craft. All you've got is Ray and her performance and the camera work and the sound and the incredible production design. And
all of them working together to make a sort of...
So you have the space, because you're not in this plot and you're not in this dialogue and you're not being carried along like whoosh.
Yes.
You've got the space to look at this stuff and your brain's able to sort of unpack the visual spectacle of what you're watching, like you're watching sort of something in an immersive stage show or something. It's the visual and oral spectacle is part of the experience, and I think that nobody does that. I mean, who does that? I mean, obviously people do that in films.
Last episode, you said you thought
not on TV.
You thought that Carol was Vince Gilligan. Do you stand by that comment, or was that just a throwaway?
Oh yeah, maybe. I think the idea that she's his proxy for living in a world where people don't kiss his ass all the time.
Yes.
As a celebrity, as a kind of genius, as an auteur, I mean, it fucks everybody up. Lynch had to go and live in a bloody. He literally had to go and live as a recluse in a commune, you know. He was quite social in the 70s. By the time it got to the 90s and the 2000s, he basically was a sort of hermit he wanted to keep on living in LA, but he sort of lived in a compound.
Well, I thought when she started painting the sign for Helen, again, it was a kind of release, because it's the first time we know that she's a writer and she's creative.
Yeah.
So she hasn't expressed any of that. She's been just, you know, so I think that, she's wrestling with the kind of trying to get to the bottom of what's happening to her, and it feels like actually her whole nature has, you know, almost disappeared anyway, because she's...
Well, what is your nature? We were talking today with Abby on the way to work. We were talking about what it's like. We were talking about kids being bored, and then we were talking about what it's like when we're bored. I was talking about what it's like.
Yes.
Talking about codependency. I was talking about what it's like when you go away and I'm here, and this weekend I tried to make a list of my favourite 20 films so that I could think of something to do while you were not around. And then I was ill, lying in bed, and then I got up to like 200 films. And I was still like, I'm bored! I mean, I was ill, so there was some excuse, but it is ridiculous.
Kind of bored.
And I mean, I was thinking about that as I was watching this. I was like, just the fucking... I mean, we all both like solitude in our own ways, but there's something about that moment of like that enforced, we've talked about the loneliness part of it before, that enforced solitude is hard.
Giddy Medal says the lack of exposition is truly a wonderful thing.
Yes.
After each episode, I'm left for a week to wonder, WTF, I'm going to try not to swear, Marek, is going on.
Sorry, Marek. Fuck that.
I think, I'm looking forward to Casanova McBona. Even, I mean, you know, lack of exposition, the tempo needs to shift, and we need to see some more people, because we need to know what, if anything, we're going to lose. What is the countdown timer? Where are we headed?
So it's not okay. I've got that down as a note here.
Okay.
Timer.
Yes.
You're confused by the timer on the screen.
I'm confused by time and numbers generally. They mean nothing to me.
That's why you're a CEO of a tech company. So I know you live by instinct. You live by the force. So
the hive mind.
Right. What confuses you about the numbers? And does anybody else feel the same about
I can never work out, because there's so many of them in so many different groups. I think I might have dyscalculia.
Right.
I can't work out whether we're going backwards or forwards, what's hours, what's days, what's minutes, what's seconds.
At the risk of sounding like a terribly patronising mansplainer, there's days, hours, minutes and seconds. Jesus Christ, I almost got lots of days, hours, minutes, seconds. And then at the end, the seconds are either going up or they're going down. And if they're going up, we're getting away from the event, from the conjoining. You're so not listening. No. And if they're going down, they're getting it's in the past and it's coming closer to the...
But this is the thing.
Okay.
Is, to me, time is elastic and expands past, future, present, because of the music thing. So the reason I was getting excited is because when we listened to the composer talking about it, he said, he was like, how do you find time in a piece? And he doesn't find it by putting it... on one hand, he puts a counter...
He literally does. His first thing that he does is turn a metronome on.
He puts a metronome on, but then he's playing with the metronome of time. Right. Which I guess is what that counter is doing for us. Is like... Because there are moments where you think, day 8, oh my God, she's had quite a long... What's she doing in the time that we're not looking at her? You know, we're only seeing her for an hour.
Drinking whiskey. Yeah, it's good.
She is drinking a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing a very rangy one today.
That's good. I'm happy with the rangy one. It's a weird episode. So, other things that we didn't talk about. Hitchcock shot. You mentioned that that rooftop shot felt
Yes.
Hitchcocky to
I
me.
want someone to explain to me, because I think it was to do with the colours. It was also to do with the outline of her face, and sort of I'm sure there's a shot in Vertigo with a woman looking straight out at the camera with the background and the landscape behind her, and perhaps it's because it is a bit otherworldly. It doesn't feel.
So it felt like a Vertigo rather than that kind of Rear Window, or it was a Vertigo shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that at the beginning, Jimmy Stewart's climbing up and he's running across the rooftops, and it's an evening, that evening time, and there's a lot of rear projection shots, and you see him there with the rooftops. There's a mix of set and rear projection, and I think it felt like that. But there's also quite a lot of other rear projection with amazing Kim Novak with
Kim Novak. That's who I think. Maybe Ray reminds me a bit of Kim Novak.
Yeah, she's got similar face, got that strong face that's kind of. Yeah. Oh, Kim Novak. So
easy.
I know. It just takes me back to being 16. A couple more things here. After everything that happened, we just need a little space, just in terms of funny things. It was so great. It's so great. It's so great. The little space thing, and then the repeating of that message. You could just listen to that message.
Patronising and awful. But it's such a turn for them because they've been so benevolent.
Yeah.
And just like, well, Zosha has. Let's face it. Actually, the Hive. We don't know about the Hive, but Zosha has been just the most amazing, energetic force. And now they really have. They're like a kind of jilted boyfriend. Or girlfriend.
Yeah. Can I have a quick squiz through the through the things?
I think we're kind of almost there.
We're close to wrapping up, aren't we? I think probably. But thank you, everybody. Rick, you're welcome to say you know me now, Ru. Oh, thanks, Rick. And
I think
Carol
we should do a live
S.
one
Turker.
of these, by the way, on the last. I don't know when the last episode is, but I think we should do a live stream.
That'd be great. So the other thing is that
in
Mike
360.
Mike Sizemore, my friend from many years ago, I think we have met very few times in actual person, but I feel like I know him very well. Hi, Mike, if you've got this far. He wants to come in and do commenting. He was like, he can appear as a little bubble speaking. But it'd be quite interesting to think about how we do guests.
Yeah.
Like in this setup.
Yeah. Beam them in.
Yeah.
Project them onto Tallulah's.
I wrote to the
tummy.
Apple PR people and said, we're doing this show, just so you know. So, you never know. One day in the far future, maybe series season 2, we
I feel
get
like
to
I
have...
might have to find out some more clever information.
Yeah, it's just like the brain is overrated, Kate.
The brain's just thoughts. The body is where it's at.
Yeah. David Mannock, I have some thoughts. Where have all the children gone? Not seen any for a while.
She mentioned that.
Yeah.
She said something about
Are there any children?
Are there any children?
We've seen a couple of young teenage kids
Yes.
doing work.
I think it's babies.
Oh my God.
I think
That's
when she
terrible.
looks under the thing, I think it's... But well, it goes back to the whole reason I stopped watching Breaking Bad, which were the babies under the cash machine.
Or are they wearing communist? Not seeing any hive wearing military or law enforcement uniforms either. I guess they're all compliant, right? But it's true, they're not there. The police are not there. Like everybody else is wearing the uniforms. Where have all of the people wearing uniforms gone? Even if they're doing other things, they've deliberately not shown policemen picking up garbage, or maybe that's because it would be confusing. But maybe also, I don't know. I mean, when we were in LA, I talked about this before. There's literally like every shop seems to have a man with a 9mm pistol in a holster with at least 3 other magazines strapped to his waist. Where are all those guys?
Yeah, they're not.
Maybe they're not in
But
Albuquerque.
they don't need those guys.
Not in Albuquerque. I know, but they should, like, given that nobody else has changed, they should be walking around with all of that weaponry still attached to them.
Yeah.
I love that moment where she realised that she could undo the...
No, I think the hive mind
shotgun.
are uniquely... the cast of extras do seem quite quirky. There's no one wearing a suit.
That's true.
But maybe that's because they're in the middle of the desert.
There aren't that many people wearing suits anymore.
No, it's true.
Did you catch the Spanish fella? Right, this is Rick. Right, Carol S. Turker, but there was a question mark. Carol the Turk. Will you be looking in the wrong place for Carol, or am I reading into it too much? I've learnt not to let a detail go by without considering it with Mr. Gilligan's shows.
Yes,
that's true. The and nice little fun things when she went to the warehouse at the end. The freight lorry was called Donachie Freight, and Donachie is the name of the cinematographer for this episode. So there was the production department being nice to the cinematography department. And Kelly Buds. I know Kate. This is interesting. I know Kate has mentioned she doesn't love science fiction much because of the lack of female representation, particularly older women.
I would like fast, slow.
I would like to recommend a newer movie that, if she can deal with some body horror, might be interesting to her, and it's called The Substance, written and directed by a woman about women, starring Demi Moore.
Yes.
It has something to say about women in society as we age, and it's bizarre as hell, but it is so beautifully made. I would love to have Lila here, our daughter Lila, who I watched that with, and Lila says it's the most we both loved it, most traumatizing movie she's ever seen.
I'm quite excited about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like it might be... Is it like menopausal horror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a woman who's a star who wants to hold on to her beauty.
Yeah.
And she basically, without giving anything away, because it's the whole plot of the movie, she takes this thing called The Substance, and she basically splits into two women, herself and who take it in turns, and a younger woman who's played by Andy McDowell's daughter, that actress whose name has got me, sorry for calling her Andy McDowell's daughter. That's bad.
Thank you, Kelly Budd, anyway.
Yes, thank you.
Discovered any more recommendations?
Barbara Maturana from Chile. I also wasn't into sci-fi before, but Pluribus is fascinating enough to change that. This is the thing.
Is it
we don't want to... Like, what did you feel about... Can we just talk about why you couldn't get into Apple TV's other big sci-fi show, Severance? Yeah, and thank you for saying you're emotional support duo.
I find it quite hard to think in abstract thought. Like, interestingly, a lot of the philosophy stuff I really like, but I think that idea of kind of, like the thing you're talking about the world and the kind of people wandering randomly, and I don't know, I find some of that quite abstract. I think I really need humans, and I really need connection.
Even though this is an episode where all the humans are gone and there's one woman.
There was a moment where I thought, if I wasn't going to have to make a podcast about this at the end, this might be the moment where I go, I'm really tired, I'm going to get to bed now. So
if we'd started watching an hour later, you would have been...
Yeah, I would have been, it would have been a bit too... But then he pulled me back in with the little Helen motif, and the kind of sudden the realness of it. I think I do really... maybe I'm basic, but I just like to have things a bit real. I don't like going off into flights of fancy.
And I know you said you were going to, with this, one of the themes of this podcast, Pluribusters, is that you keep on saying we're going to wrap it up, and then I keep on extending it. But just like you, just before we started recording, you were like, you said something about the menopause.
What, that she wasn't putting any hormone replacement therapy on her thighs?
Yes.
I was like, well, Carol's clearly not menopausal yet.
I mean, she clearly is.
She clearly is, because she's cross.
No, but I mean, she is of an age where she must be perimenopausal at least.
Yes, but she doesn't seem to have any need for... Well, we don't see her doing the drugs apart from the alcohol.
But I mean, okay, I'm not going to talk about you. But like, there are a lot of people who don't do drugs.
Yes. Obviously, drugs are bad.
No. Do the drugs.
Oh, what, hormone replacement therapy? Yeah. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe she hasn't realised yet that if she just got a bit of gel, things would change. What,
join the hive mind? You think HRT is hive mind?
Oh, I mean, the number of conversations I have with my female friends about, is this just a male doctor's way of getting me to shut up?
Well, maybe that's maybe that's what she's discovered, that they're all drinking.
Yeah.
There we go. So,
I mean, hormone. That's the thing, isn't it? Hormones that drive us. It's not just women; it's men as well. You know, we underestimate how much we are.
We are all hormonal. We are all chemical
reaction.
beings. We are chemical beings.
And
we love to think that we
reactions to
are
things that we've
rational.
Yeah.
We are absolutely not rational. Like, we follow some rules that we have to follow, but like studies time and time again show us
So maybe
that we make decisions based on emotional and hormonal reactions to things, and then we find reasons to justify them afterwards. Yeah, it's great.
Times.
I think it's great. I think the sooner we can get away from this idea. I mean, economics for years was imprisoned by this idea that there's this perfect human being that would make rational decisions in their own self-interest. That's why economics didn't really work or make any sense for fucking years, because it was not really a science. It was the idea that humans were this a rational person was called an econ. They literally boiled it down. And this econ is going to make a decision, and then behavioral economics came along and said, people are idiots.
Yeah.
Like, we're all making decisions for all kinds of different reasons, and we have to kind of figure out why.
Yeah.
Anyway, Amanda mentioned that the hospital is St. John's. I love all the imagery and references that put women at the centre, so refreshing. St. Joan, though, burned at the stake for heresy and then later sainted for her courage. Also, I loved how she flushed her truth down the toilets from last episode.
Yes, that was quite cool.
We don't get to reflect on last week's comments until a week later.
Yes.
And we've been talking about whether we need to do a kind of midweek episode.
No,
I don't know.
This is quite enough.
Okay, yeah, we're also quite busy. But what do you think about? What do you think? Like, we talked a lot in that first episode about women and about the female nature of the show.
The big twist, the happy twist, because I love a happy ending. No, I want Carol to I like the idea of her sort of seeming like this very difficult and troublesome person, and actually being someone who possibly saves mankind. Nice. I like that idea. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't know. What is going to happen? What's the next episode called? It's called
HDP, which I looked up and means, I'm not going to try and say it in a Spanish accent, but hijo de puta, son of a bitch. And I think it must be about Casanova McBoner.
Wow.
Because he's in the picture. So we're going to go back and see him, Mr. whatever his name is.
Oh, then we're going to have some fun gender politics. Cannot wait.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for writing in. Keep them coming. And spread the word. We'd love to have more people
join us.
I'm feeling such a happy song. Just singing and laughing and playing my day along.
See you next week.
And why don't you sing along with me? Why don't you sing? You'll see. You're gonna be happy, 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 happy.